Hello and welcome to Echoes of Elgin, Timeless Tales from the Elgin History Museum. I'm Rebecca Miller, museum educator at the Elgin History Museum, and your guide through Elgin's storied past. In each episode, we bring you captivating tales from Elgin's rich history, exploring the events, people, and places that have made our city what it is today. Whether you're a longtime resident, a history enthusiast, or just curious about local lore, this podcast is for you. Our Elgin Echo today reaches us from June 15, 1981, when noted Elgin historian E.C. Mike Alft reminds us that in the days of our grandfathers and great-grandfathers, Elgin boys behaved themselves. They grew up in a world with firm standards of right and wrong, had plenty of chores to keep them out of mischief, and were disciplined by parents who didn't spare the rod. They read good literature instead of watching the violence on TV, and they were expected to attend Sunday school and church. Oh yes, the boys of yesterday were far different from the unruly, disrespectful, rootless youths of today. Abundant indications of their wholesomeness can be found in the papers of 19th century Elgin. On November 29, 1875, the Daily Bluff City reports, some boys, it is supposed, entered the watch factory schoolhouse last night by false keys, built fires in all 3 stoves above and 1 in the basement, lighting them with school books and papers, opened the drawers, tipped over the desks, took out the works of the clock, and made indecent figures on the walls with ink. A letter to the editor of the Elgin Advocate on June 10, 1876, asked, "Is there no way in which the intolerable nuisance of boys throwing stones at the birds in town can be abated?" On August 7, 1880, the Elgin Advocate reported, Elgin, like numerous other cities, is infested with a good-sized crowd of vandals. A favorite pastime with them seems to be tearing down fences. The Evening Advocate on July 22, 1881 reported, the man who has charge of the gasoline street lamps says that the boys break the globes faster than he can replace them. The Daily News reported on October 13, 1888, the gallery of the Opera House may be closed in the future on account of young hoodlums expectorating onto the parquet circle. The Elgin Advocate reported on September 15, 1888, that the attention of school and city authorities is called to the very common use of profane and vulgar language by many of the school children in the city. No further detail was given by the Daily Courier on March 14, 1889, when they reported, malicious boys committed depredations in St. John's Church School. About a month later, on April 19, 1889, the Daily News reported, quite a good deal of damage has recently resulted from the use of slingshots by the boys. A stern warning was issued by the Daily News on July 17, 1889, that if those persons, boys or otherwise, who have been stuffing things into the keyholes of the fire alarm boxes know what is healthful for them, they will cease such a practice. The Daily News reported on October 31, 1889, the small boys about town have a mania for gambling by flipping pennies at a crack in the sidewalk. On October 26, 1891, the Daily News reported, the attention of the police is directed to the crowds that make a business of standing at the entrance of the Opera House, especially on play nights. It is composed of a lot of cigarette-smoking, tobacco-chewing, swearing young toughs, whose words and actions are not at all pleasing to decent people who patronize the theater or who pass along the sidewalk. The Evening Dial of October 31st, 1899 noted, the people of the North End are very much annoyed by the conduct of a class of young fellows who prowl around drunk late at night. What can be done? The Daily News of October 18, 1889 says, if parents will make no effort to control their boys, but permit them to run at large at night, learning all sorts of deviltry, then the law should step in. Oh, the good old days, indeed. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Elgin's history. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing to our podcast and leaving a review wherever you listen. For more fascinating stories and updates, please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and visit our website at www.elginhistory.org. Thanks for listening, and remember, history lives on in the echoes of Elgin.